I guess speaking about the utility of communicating science, we do face many challenges, and you mentioned the anti-vaxxer movement as being one, but we have things like climate change, space exploration, feeding a growing population. What role do you think that science communication is going to have in meeting those challenges?
It's essential. So people doing the broadcasting of the data around science is really good. But it's not just the data. You've got to turn it into stories because people like stories. And many people will filter what they receive through their eyes and ears through the filter of their brain, specifically their culture, their religion, and where they are in the world. And so if you talk about gun deaths in Texas, I'm guessing that in most cases they say, well, it's because we don't have enough guns. If everybody had a gun, then nobody would shoot anybody, right? And with regard to something really topical for the last 20 years, climate change, many people just simply refuse to accept the hard data, and because they're filtering it through their culture, I guess. So in the case of ex-Senator Malcolm Roberts of the Two Nation Party, because he was both British and Australian, he refused to accept the validity of the NASA data. Whenever he was shown any data that has for the last third of a century shown that climate change is real, he'd simply say that's faked. But instead he chose to believe a strange mix of conspiracy theories about how the United Nations wants to take away our sovereignty, and the easiest way to do that is to get funding to set up its own army, and the easiest way to get funding is to set up the myth that climate change is real, and therefore they'll impose a carbon tax which will let them put on an army, which will then take over the Australian army, the American army, the Chinese army, etc. That's what he believes.
Yeah,
That's
and I think that's probably mainly for ideological reasons. Is that what
Don't
you may
know.
be saying? Yeah.
It's hard to understand what's going on in another person's head, even if you try to walk in their shoes.
For me, it's a fascinating question though, because I consider myself a skeptic. So I say this, but I'm trying to like prove myself wrong and things like that.
Yeah, in
and
other words, you want to have something proven to you
that's
before
right.
you believe it.
And I want to believe things that are true.
Yeah.
I place value on truth, and so it's very hard for me to understand how people can have those views.
Sure.
Yeah, it's
Well,
an interesting question, I think, to me.